everyone, and welcome to the Creators Spotlight episode 5. Who'd have thought we got this far? But it seems to be picking up pace now. We join another trio of exceptional creators in their field, telling us all about themselves and indeed a few curveball questions that I've thrown at them. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for everybody that's taken part thus far. It's been great to have you and see the response from other people who have viewed the videos and have found new creators to go and find and check out their channels. That's the whole purpose of this. And obviously heading across to their Instagram pages and checking out the photography work, if in fact that's what they do. We've had quite the wide array of people on here, whether they're videographers, photographers, graphic designers and the likes, and they've all been very happy just to share their stories and examples of work with us. So I feel that the idea has actually served its purpose really well, and I've been joined with some excellent people who seem to have enjoyed the experience and indeed have helped others check out their work. So as we head on to episode 5, we're joined with 3 new creators for you to check out and go over and have a look at their work and explore their creative mind. Today we're joined with 3 new creators. We've got Andy, we've got Dan, and we've got Rachel. And they'll be telling you shortly all about themselves, where they're from, what it is that they do. This is also an opportunity for me to say, if you enjoy the series and you like it and you are indeed a creator yourself, why don't you get involved and get in touch with me, and I'll send you a brief and you could do your version of the video and join another 2 illustrious creators on the next episode or indeed future episodes if you so will. We'd love to have you here. It's a great thing and I'm really enjoying editing and putting it together and getting it out there for people to watch. So let me introduce you to our 3 guests today. We have Andy, Dan and Rachel. I'll let these guys tell you about themselves. So, team, why don't you furnish us with who you are and what it is that you do, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks, Mikey. Nice to be here. My name's Andy Green. I run a creative agency called Spaceman Creative Studio, based down in the south of England in Kent. And I offer all sorts of stuff really, as the name suggests. So, photography being a big thing, but also graphic design, logo design, branding, illustration, animation, everything you can think of creative really.
Hey Mikey, thanks for having me on. My name's Dan. I'm a photographer from Northern Ireland, just outside of Belfast. I primarily shoot music events, gigs, that type of thing. In terms of video, I also do vlogs and budget gear reviews, which is something I'm quite passionate about.
Thank you for having me, Mikey. I'm based in the UK and I currently live in a city called Leeds. I'm trying to go down the outdoor documentary route at the moment, but I tend to post a lot of videos, personal videos of climbing and going on adventures, especially in the Lake District in Scotland. So I guess that's the kind of creator I am.
Excellent, thank you very much. Glad to have you all here and smiling and just looking awesome. Thank you very much. So why don't you tell the viewers what it is that it inspires you to create?
Question. I suppose the final result is a big thing for me. I love being able to deliver that logo design or those photos or that branding guideline or whatever it is to the client, and them loving it, sharing it, and their business thriving from it. So I suppose that side of it is fantastic, and just the sheer creativity of creating itself. I think that is just something that is built into some people, and I suppose I'm privileged to be one of those people who just loves to create and draw and design and take photos and just live a creative lifestyle, I suppose.
Might sound a little bit long-winded. I used to play Pokemon Go, and I watched a YouTuber who also played it, and he kept mentioning this guy's name, this guy that he watched on YouTube. This guy was called Casey Neistat. So then I checked out Casey's YouTube channel, and he had Peter McKinnon on his videos, which then prompted me to check out Peter McKinnon. And from there I started getting into video and photography. And pretty much because of that, my wife bought me a camera as an anniversary present. So from there I started taking photos, started doing some videos, and eventually I started to get comfortable with what I was doing. I started really enjoying it, and I could see that I was improving. Both my wife and my parents then sort of prompted me to maybe look at taking some classes or something like that, which I did. I put myself through college 2 years ago, which was difficult because it was a full-time course. I also had to still work full-time, so I had no free time at all for myself for a full year. But the payoff was worth it. At the end, I came out with a diploma in photography. I met loads of great people, including a lot of the bands that I now photograph. And I learned some invaluable skills, which I now try to help pass on to other people if I can. And that's sort of what kick-started my photography and video journey, I suppose, if you will. In terms of what inspires me now, specifically for video, is the oversaturation of creators who keep pushing really expensive gear when it just isn't necessary at all. Especially if you're of a creative mind, you don't need the most expensive camera, the most expensive lenses, the most expensive sound, or the most expensive tripods and bags. As long as you have an idea and a phone, you can create something, and that's the route I'm trying to go down, trying to inspire people. I don't know whether it's working or not, but that's what inspires me.
The outdoors inspires me to create, which is quite hard at the moment because I'm inside a lot and I'm in my own local area and I can't see the mountains or the sea. So that's really challenging, but I can still get inspiration even in my local area. I've got some woods just down the road from me. So I'm trying to enjoy the outdoors as much as possible. So yeah, that's the outdoors and telling people's stories about their mental health or kind of challenges that they have to go through, whether it's injury or marginalization. So, and if I can combine both of those, the outdoors and kind of that human story, that's the kind of the sweet spot for me. So yeah, there's a lot of things that inspire me, but probably like human story and our environment and the outdoors, probably the two big ones.
What mythical creature, if it existed, would improve the world today?
What mythical creature would improve the world? Now, I'm probably supposed to say something very politically correct that solves wars and gives everyone peace and love, and I'm sure that's probably the answer to the question. I think for me, it's probably some kind of creature that could deliver McDonald's to my village. Everyone else seems to be able to get it, but my village, I can't get McDonald's. So a sort of McDonald's flying hippopotamus that carries whatever I want. Mainly double cheeseburger ×2, large Big Mac meal, strawberry milkshake.
That's an interesting question. I'm quite a big believer in saving the planet and everyone doing their part. So what about a creature or a monster, something like that eats trash and garbage, things that we throw away, and in turn then uses that to, I don't know, re-fertilize the planet. Something that eats all the rubbish that we just dispose of willy-nilly, throwing behind our backs in the bin, everything that ends up in landfill. Something like that, I think, would be a great addition to the world. If every country had a trash monster that just ate everything that we didn't use, sort of a natural recycling bin, I think that would be pretty cool.
I think it would have to be dragons, but not just like any old dragons. It would have to be like super smart dragons who would put humans in our place. So it would be like the kind of dragons that would care about the environment and care about the world and kind of stop us destroying it. So I'm kind of giving it a bit of an environmental spin. But yeah, imagine if there were just like really smart, huge dragons flying about, and every time someone was like trying to cut down trees in the rainforest, they would just come swooping in, like you'd stop or it'd burn you to death. Bit morbid, but yeah, for sure dragons. I'd love to see dragons.
Is there a particular piece of work that you've done that you're most proud of?
I suppose the main thing I'm proud of is starting my business. I know it's a bit cheesy, and it's not a specific bit of work, but working for other people for 15 years of my life, and then deciding with the support of my wife to start Spaceman, and all the work that comes with that. So all the clients, fantastic retainer clients and ad hoc clients, and everyone that I've worked with. I suppose I'm just very proud of that body of work that I've managed to create, that has made it possible for me to run my own business, work for myself, work out of my own studio at home, and just have a much better lifestyle.
Piece of work that I would be proud of would probably be on the photography side of things, and it would be my final college piece, almost like an exam type piece, which I had centered around local businesses and business owners in my town that were sort of clinging on to life in the burgeoning high street, the failing sort of economic market. And it was a real challenge for me, but it was also really interesting to get to speak to individual real people with real problems and photograph their lives as they were going through their business, their daily business lives. And in the end, it got me my diploma. I was also awarded Student of the Year because of it. The work, it was 3 photos and a photo book that ended up going on display in a college gallery. And for me, it was a really proud moment, especially after the gallery was done and the work was taken down. I could present that work to those business owners almost as a reminder or a memento. I didn't keep it, I gave it to them free of charge, obviously. Yeah, that was a proud moment for me. Video wise, I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe it depends on my mindset. One of my most recent videos was all about my headspace, things that I was going through, and it was talking about really personal emotions. And it was obviously that's a difficult thing to put on camera and to put out into the world, and I was quite proud that I was able to do that. I'm not really that type of person. So yeah, that's probably a couple of pieces of work that I'm proud of.
I find it quite difficult to be proud of anything that I make, because usually whenever I create something, I will watch it back and go, oh wow, that's trash. So I find it quite hard. But saying that, I'm quite proud at the moment of a video I just put out this week, which was kind of a lockdown climbing video. And it's not my style at all. It's really, it's kind of like a bit of humor, and I never really kind of post funny things because I don't really see myself as a funny person, but other people have said they found it funny, so I'm actually quite proud of that I made people laugh, because I'd love to be the kind of creator who always makes people laugh, because I think that's just amazing, but I've never seen myself as that person. So yeah, I'm quite proud of that.
What are some fun and interesting alternatives to war that countries could use to settle the differences?
That's a good question. I suppose top trumps. Used to love top trumps when I was younger, for sure. Crossbar challenge. Who doesn't love a crossbar challenge? Eating contest. I once unofficially held the record for eating the most amount of Ferrero Rochers in a minute. So maybe who could eat the most Ferrero Rochers in 1 minute? It feels like I'm doing a lot of product placement here. I'm not being paid by McDonald's or Ferrero Rocher.
See, I'm a big gamer. I would play a lot of war games, but maybe they're a little bit too close to the cuff. So what about something a little bit more mellow, like a poetry competition or a writing competition, something that takes time and patience to do and has a lot of thought behind it, instead of just jumping in and seeing who has the bigger arms. And by arms, I don't mean arms. That would be interesting. Or like a giant game of tic-tac-toe. I imagine it doesn't really matter what you do. At the end of the day, there's going to be a loser. Someone's going to be upset and the war will happen anyway. But yeah, poetry.
That is a really hard one. I would say board games. Like, imagine if there was conflict between two countries, and instead of like lining up the soldiers and, you know, loads of people dying, like they just had these two, I don't know whether it would be the two leaders or like they picked like the two smartest people they could find, and they would just meet up and have this like epic board game battle with like fake soldiers dying or whatever. I don't know. They could play like Scythe or something, if you've heard of that. And yeah, like whoever wins the board game wins the conflict. I don't really know how that would work practically, but maybe it would.
Is there a place that you've never visited that you would consider a bucket list in order to go and shoot some photography or video?
A place I would love to visit. Well, there's two that spring to mind from a photography point of view, I suppose, and that is Costa Rica. I think the jungle side of it and the animals and all that. I do a lot of nature photography, and I suppose that would be incredible. I suppose that and a safari style tour. I suppose that would be the kind of main places. And then fairly cliche, but I think probably something like Iceland is incredible there. So probably those two places.
This is actually quite a hard question because my travel bucket list is quite large, and the first thing that comes to mind is New York. I think photographers and videographers, anyone in relation to a social presence online, YouTube or Instagram, New York is probably the go-to place. Having said that, I really like nature and being outside, hiking, camping. So I'd maybe say California. It's quite a big state. You've got a lot of cities, but a lot of outside and mountainous areas. So I'm going to say California. I think that would be if I had to go to one place, that's where I would choose to go. But there's loads of places. New York, Tokyo, Egypt, Iceland, the fjords, pretty much everywhere. If there's a place that people go to, I want to go there. I want to go everywhere.
So I don't really have a place, but I have always wanted to see narwhals in the wild. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. And I'd actually love to create a documentary, like an environmental documentary around narwhals. So I'd probably end up in Greenland or Canada or somewhere like that to try and see them, because it's quite hard to see them. But yeah, that's kind of a dream of mine. So maybe one day, maybe if I get a really cool job as part of a team creating a documentary or something. So yeah, but I've always wanted to go kind of to that area of the world, like up where it's like cold and barren and beautiful. So yeah, and of course Iceland, because everyone wants to go to Iceland because it's incredibly beautiful. But yeah, narwhals.
What inanimate object would you eliminate from existence?
What inanimate object would I remove from existence? I think maybe an iron. It seems to me that it's a huge waste of life, ironing. I think removing that would mean we either all have creased clothes, which would be fine, or in removing irons it automatically makes everyone's clothes flat and straight for all time. Either way I don't mind, but I don't want to have to iron stuff all the time. and that's it.
This is probably the toughest question. It's actually taken me a little bit to think about it. Being a bit of an environmentalist, I think I'll say petrol-driven cars, petrol-run cars or vehicles. I think in 2020 they're now becoming a bit obsolete. We know we don't need them. People are driving a lot less, especially at the minute, and more people are using electric powered vehicles or hybrid powered vehicles, so obviously they're being phased out anyway, so why not just get rid of them altogether? Petrol vehicles, I think.
So I'm gonna go for super cheesy answer here and say guns, because it's the only thing I could think of. But then I thought about it and I thought, you know what, that would be a good thing to get rid of, because there would still be violence. Like, of course there'd still be violence, but imagine it'd be so much harder to commit mass murder with a bow and arrow than it would with a gun. I mean, I'm sure it's still doable, but yeah, I feel like that it could maybe solve a lot of quite serious issues. Maybe cause some new ones, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with my gut reaction answer and say guns.
And that is that. Thank you very much, creators, for taking part. It was lovely to have you here. Andy, Dan, Rachel, hope to see you all real soon. And thanks very much again for taking part in this.
Thanks, Mikey. Bye.
Cheers, Mikey. Thanks very much for having me, and I can't wait to see the rest of the creators that you have on the show. I think it's a great idea, and all the best for the future.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
So thanks again for my three creators visiting today and giving us their spin on what it is that they do. Thank you for tuning in and watching this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it thus far. And like I said at the beginning, if you would like to get involved, please get in touch. In the description below will all be the links to each of the creators and various pages that they're affiliated to that you can go and check out their work and subscribe to their channels if that's what you would like. And hopefully we'll see you all again on the next episode with another three creators giving us their thoughts and musings on the world. So thanks again for tuning in. Headbutt that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you all on the next video.